Okay, so it seems that there's been a lot of kind of drama and stuff going around the Stream Awards at the moment, and well, there's a recent post coming from an analytical place which we look at quite a lot, which has angered a lot more people, and I thought this was a very interesting topic to talk about, considering some of the previous kind of analytics and things that they have posted. Now, if you don't know, on this channel we cover quite a bit about stream charts or streams charts, and essentially what they do is they gather information about streamers. I'm sure you guys have seen that post before about a lot of, posts like this, where they essentially kind of round up a weekend or like, the top kick streamers on the first week of December, right? They do it for everyone, they do it for VTubers, and we cover a lot of the VTuber stuff because they do a lot of extensive research into who is popular, what agencies are doing good, and everything like that, which is really exciting to see. And obviously, it's great to have that kind of information out there, right? And well, yeah, they came out with this recently, with this alongside obviously all of the kind of streamer awards drama around the BurntPeanut winning. And yeah, you can see here that the BurntPeanut has taken the top spot in terms of most watched VTubers, which I do think is interesting because obviously, yeah, it's out of all Kick, Twitch, YouTube Gaming, YouTube non-gaming VTubers. So these are all people on every single platform. Who is the best VTuber? And obviously, it seems like the BurntPeanut is at the top of that. Now, obviously, there's been a huge debate over whether the BurntPeanut is a peanut. Is a peanut? Well, he obviously is a peanut, but I mean a VTuber, sorry, or not. And yeah, that has been a very, very discussed topic, which again, I'm kind of in the middle of, I don't really care at the end of the day, but it seems like they have classed him as a VTuber, and he's taken both number 1 and number 2 spots, considering he multi-streams and is doing great on both of them. And then obviously, as you can see, you got people like Pakura, Miko, so many people doing great as well, and then obviously we got a couple of the EN VTubers too, including Vidal, Nurosama, and also Filion as well, both doing excellently. Now, again, great to see that they are all up there, but I did think it was pretty interesting whenever I looked at some of this, because obviously this is going to cause a lot of drama for a lot of people, right? Lots of people are going to be very unhappy that the BurntPeanut is at the top of the VTubing category. And again, as I said, I'm in the middle, and someone even says down here saying someone should community note this, since Peanut said he's not a VTuber, doesn't want to be associated with VTubers. And then they respond saying, we spoke with him about it, he's okay about being included as a VTuber in the tops, hope this helps. So yeah, obviously it seems like they've talked to him and they said this makes it worse, thanks, which I do think is interesting because obviously we know that the BurntPeanut, whenever it came to the VTuber Awards, wanted to annoy VTubers by obviously winning the award, and he did it, and obviously, it worked. And it seems like, this might be the case for this too, right? Whenever they reached out to him and said, hey, do you want to be on the top VTuber thing? Obviously, I'm sure he saw this as an opportunity to be like, I could annoy even more VTubers at this point by being on the top of this chart. And obviously he went, yeah. So of course, he took it, and that's why he said yes to that, right? And you got people like VTubers Mafan here saying that peanut killed my entire family and murdered all my VTubing friends, by the way, which yeah, obviously is quite funny. Who's saying interestingly timed post, and I do think this is an interestingly timed post. I think that a lot of what Stream Charts does, they tend to just put out posts every now and again, but I also do think they are very opportunistic in terms of their posting, with the fact that they released the top VTubers on the first week of December, straight after all of this kind of drama kicked off with the BurntPeanut. But I think what's also even more interesting, not the timing of this, because obviously maybe sure it was scheduled to upload, but also the fact that they didn't consider the BurntPeanut a VTuber a couple of weeks ago, which I thought was very interesting because, again, obviously he's doing amazingly. He's, getting a ton of viewership, right? And obviously if he is considered a VTuber and Stream Charts is considering them a VTuber, why was he not featured on the last one? This one, December 1st. Top VTubers in the past weekend. This was 7 days before this went up. The BurntPeanut's been popping off for the past couple of months, right? He's been getting tons of viewership. And you can even see here, for example, top YT gaming streamers. He's even included in here on November 29th. So again, pretty similar time frame. He's doing better than Pakura, who, if you look at this one, Pakura's number 1. So he would be, the one ahead of her because, again, same time frame, but for some reason he's not there. I thought it was just very interesting. Now, again, I'm not saying like, he deserves to, he doesn't deserve to, or whatever, to be on the kind of chart, right? But I do think it's interesting how the stream charts has switched up all of a sudden ever since the whole, VTuber award drama thing that has happened, right? And now they've decided to put this on there. It comes across as pretty opportunistic to me in terms of, they knew they could get a banger post. I mean, they did 73,000 views, right? By obviously including him in the top VTuber panel. But it's interesting how they never kind of thought of him as a VTuber before this, about a week ago, and now all of a sudden he's on this list. It's strange. It's very, very strange. And obviously they've had a chat with him and things like that. But you would expect from a VTuber, not a VTuber, from a YouTube, Twitch, whatever analytics company, they would have an eye on every single streamer that is popping off, including TheBurntPeanut, who's been popping off not just in the VTuber space, but in the wider space. He's been popping off in terms of everything. And for some reason, they didn't even consider, is he in the VTuber category? Or maybe they had that conversation, they said, no, he's not a VTuber, and then they changed their mind whenever they saw the Stream Awards. I think it's interesting. Again, it's nothing against the BurntPeanut or anything for, doing it. Obviously, he has been popping off. You can see, the insane amount of viewership he's been getting. But yeah, I did find it interesting because it's only a week time frame. Sure, if it's a couple of months, maybe he wasn't popping off as much, they didn't know about him. I could understand that maybe they just didn't really pick up on it. But he's one of the biggest streamers, period, not like VTubers, just anything, just streamer in general at the moment. And somehow they managed to miss the ball with that only a week ago. But again, we can keep on going and say, interestingly typed post. Wait, so TheBurntPeanut is a PTuber. Does that make Vidu a TTuber? They say, it's well to me, the people who aren't familiar with Peanut's content are now shocked he's soared up there. He makes clips, content surrounding things. But again, I think a lot of people are saying things oh, people are shocked that he's soared up there, right? He has soared up there. He's soared up there on the charts, right? He's grown very quickly. Within the past 3 months or so, he's had a huge buff, especially with the Arc Raider stuff, right? Great, great for him, whatever. But the thing is, he hasn't just soared up the streamer charts. He hasn't just suddenly appeared on the VTuber charts. They've decided to put him on there, right? He's been popping off way before, this post where he wasn't featured on the streamer charts or whatever like that. You can see they've even posted that he's been popping off before that. But for some reason now they decide to add him, which again, very, very weird. They say, does it combine YouTube and Twitch watch hours? They say, what an insult. Dupus in the face of VTubers. We get to congratulate him. Said, that's weird. Image must be glitched because I only see 8 VTubers up there. So it is the time. Which obviously, a lot of people are cheering on Neurosama. And hopefully, Neurosama, does climb up the charts even more because they've been having a great time recently, especially Phillian. I've seen they've been doing a hardcore Minecraft event thing where, they're all streaming. And that's been pretty fun to watch. So again, obviously, they 100% deserve to be up there, and I'm glad to see that they are getting good viewership and people are focusing on the positive side to this because, again, I did feel like this could have blown up even more than it did, at the moment. Obviously, 70k views is still good, but I think, I think stream charts kind of expected it to go a little bit bigger than this and people to be outraged and things. But I think most people are just more positive at the fact that, some of their favorite VTubers are doing good. You can compare the time charts and whatever, right? Sure. But at the end of the day, I think they're all doing good. And also, as well, you got to see, this is based on watch hours. BurntPeanut's been streaming 48 hours on Twitch, right? Miko's done half of that and is almost up to him. I think, if Miko put in a couple more hours, this could be a very different story, right? And I do think it was interesting, but I am glad to see that, obviously people are celebrating at least the VTubers in the space that are really trying hard and have always kind of competed on this stream chart and have always been on here. For example, this was the past weekend, Pecora up there, ironmouse up there, Miko up there, so many people up there, which again have been absolutely amazing in the space. But again, I just kind of wanted to share that information with you because I look back and I was like, okay, I've never seen the BurntPeanut on the VTuber category before in terms of the stream charts, right? And, as I said, you can have your own feelings and thoughts about whether you think he should be up there or not. But it seems like the stream charts have just made a snap decision to add him on there now, all of a sudden, after everything has gone on. Which, again, interesting. Obviously, they said they had a chat with him, so maybe that changed their mind. But I feel like they only had the chat with him in the first place because they wanted to put him up there, right? So, interesting. Again, I just kind of wanted to cover that because I thought it was just weird and very, very odd. And hey, maybe he will be up here for eternity now. And the stream charts is kind of ruined, I guess, in terms of the actual VTuber space, because I did really enjoy this as a metric for how the VTuber space was getting along in terms of, VTubers are involved in the VTubing kind of, obviously I don't want to say community, but you get what I mean, like the VTubing space, right? People that actually actively interact with VTubers. Obviously, BurntPeanut does separate stuff, which is fine. But, I feel like it was a good metric. But now, obviously, it serves a little bit less of a good metric just because, there's two spaces that are probably going to be filled up for quite a while, considering how much of a crazy trajectory the BurntPeanut is on right now. But yeah, that's essentially all I got for this video. I just kind of want to talk about it a little bit. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameSubs, use my code Kazza, get 10% off. Again, they got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.